Oh, hey, top of the morning to you. Good afternoon to you who are watching this on replay, as well as evening for whatever it is, what time of day. Listen, fam, I just had to make sure that I came on here to tell you and remind you. Let me make sure I got this mic up for you. You still here, fam. You still alive. You still got life in your body. We got to make this one personal today, though. I need y'all to understand that not only do you got life in your body, but the purposes that you get to fulfill today. Like, we're not talking about new stuff taking place. We're talking about compound interest on top of what you've already been through this week. I know at the top of this week, it was difficult. I'm talking about I got hit with something that had me on my tail. And it's just like, man, that was Sunday. Then came Monday, still dealing with some stuff. Then came Tuesday, and then came Wednesday, and then came Thursday. And here we are on this Friday. And guess what? We get into momentum. So let's go ahead and get our mind right, because whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. And because you got life in your body and you still here, then that means you still got work to do, fam. So before we get started, we're going to make sure, you know what I'm saying, we get into momentum. And if we're going to get into momentum, we're going to get into momentum the right way. And we're going to start just like this. Mm. Come on now. Let's get into momentum. Let's get our mind right. Let's make our minds up, right? We're going to get intentional. We're going to stay focused. We're going to do what we committed to. We're going to do what we said we was going to do. And it's Friday and we still got time. We still got life in our body, right? You still here? Let's go. Hey, fam, you still here. You still alive, and you still got purposes in front of you that's just waiting on you to show up. You got opportunities in front of you that's just waiting on you to show up. You got everything that you need available to you. You just need to be made aware of it. Because the access that you have, a lot of the times we've been blinded. We've been deceived. We've been duped. We've been bamboozled. We've been played. And it's not your fault that you don't know the things that you don't know in certain areas. However, it is our responsibility. It's your responsibility to do something about it. Now that you've been made aware, now that you know, okay, then what are we going to do about that? Are you going to remain the person who acts as if they don't have the power to change the scenario and situation? Or are you going to be the person that you have the power to become and actually decides today, like, listen, this is it. I'm done. And if I'm done with mediocrity, I'm done with being an amateur. I'm done with being a dilettante. I'm done with being a novice. I'm done with being the people that everybody else are. I ain't no sheep. I ain't none of that stuff. If I am following anybody or anything, it is going to be the one that gave me life to live. And I have the power, ability, skill, and time because of him. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do today on this Friday? Well, let's start with this. Let's reflect. Okay? Let's start with the reflection and make this let's make this reflection right. Let's reflect on one challenge that you had this week that you actually overcame. We're not talking about 3 or 4 or 5. I need you to find one challenge that you overcame this week. This week, not last week, not last month, this week. And if you overcame a challenge this week, then guess what that means? That means you a champion. That means you an overcomer because you winning by default. Ooh. But to know that you won, to know that you're winning, to know that allows you to see that, oh my goodness, I may not have counted my wins. So if you ain't counting your wins, that you're not counting your blessings. And if you're not counting your blessings, that means you're not being aware of what you actually have. And if you're not being aware of what you got, then there's a chance that people are robbing you, fam. And it started with you. You have the ability, excuse me, to literally reevaluate everything that you got and repurpose it. And it's crazy, like, that's basic. What you talking about? No, 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 no. Dude, we not basic over here. We're not basic over here. We're gonna make it a little more clear. The question that I'm going to ask you is this: what do you have to gain if you lose? And on the other side, what do you have to lose if you win? The reason I ask this question is because sometimes the best thing that can happen to you and for you is that you lose. Because some losses are the actual building blocks for becoming the winner that you were always meant to be. If you are a winner, that means you are living. Now, how does this even make sense? By definition, etymologically speaking, the word win means to strive for. It means to struggle. It means to literally toil for. And it's like, ugh. Well, if you've had to struggle at any given point in time with anything and you overcame it, you weren't a winner because you overcame it. You were winning while you were going through it because you never gave up. You were still toiling, you were still striving for, you were still going forward with effort. And though it was difficult, though it was complex, though it was something, whatever it was, you still here and you still winning. Now, how are you winning if you were going through what you were going through and it didn't feel good? The reason you're winning is I ought to pull this stuff up. I'm telling you, etymologically, the word win, because words are important, words are powerful, words matter. The word win means to toil for, it means to struggle, it means to actually give effort towards something. But it's like, wait a minute. Well, hold on. Then doesn't that mean if I actually achieved it, then I won? No, you were winning while you were struggling, fam. That's a fact. That's a fact. You were winning while you were struggling. So if you're struggling right now and you have not given up, that means you still winning. Mm-hmm. And if you still winning, then this is just the beginning because the building blocks for success are built on top of wins and losses. But here's the thing, even when you lose, you win. Because sometimes we have to lose the things that were not benefiting us anymore. We have to lose the thing. It's like a pruning. You have to get rid of that which is no longer useful because it's only hindering and halting growth and development. So if you want to grow and you want to develop, you got to cut some stuff off. So you have to lose some things in order to win and achieve in the future. It's a hard pill to swallow. It really is. For example, I remember waking up and I couldn't open my eyes. Literally, I woke up October 1st, 2023, and I could not open my eyes. Like I got them open right now. I couldn't open them. And I did not know that on that Sunday, by the end of that week, I would have seen multiple doctors. And then by the following week, I would have seen a specialist that I didn't know existed. And then after seeing that type of specialist, my goodness, I got diagnosed with something I'd never heard of just to find out that the diagnosis in October, by the way, would put me on medication that would hurt me, harm me, and hinder me, and halt me, and stop me. Oh, by the way, you can't go to work anymore, Jared. You can't go and provide for your family anymore, Jared. You can't do the things that you used to do, and you don't even know why. So you would think, what's going on? Am I losing? No, I didn't know that I was winning because what was being taken away from me, God had to close my eyes so that He could open my eyes to the faith that I needed to have. See, sometimes you have to lose what you think you need in order to reveal what you always had. So the value of what I have now is the byproduct of what I lost back then. And it's crazy because I was lied to. I was deceived. I was played and guinea pigged. So what happens is I get misdiagnosed and I didn't know. You ever been in pain and you just wanted the problem solved? Yeah. Man, I got to put some music on for this one. I just wanted the problem solved. And the problem that I needed solved was, why are my eyes not opening up? Why am I having these extreme headaches? Why am I sensitive to light at this point, even though I can't open my eyes? What is going on? What is happening? Why is my life seemingly falling apart? Just to find out that in the next year, the person that I had become after going through so much was misdiagnosed. And then when I got the next diagnosis, because I've been through so much, I finally say, you know what, listen, when he told me, he said, it's MS. I said, let's go. He said, what? I said, let's go. At least I know. See, the testing that had not been done by the previous specialist led to me being tested and understanding the importance of taking your time. See, some people want to rush through a process. They want to rush you through their process so they can get a result for themselves, but it ain't for you. So while they were mistesting me and misdiagnosing me, God was testing me and preparing me and showing me exactly who it is I was meant to be. See, he closed my eyes so he can open them up again. But when my eyes were fully open and when I was able to think and see things from a different perspective, I had to let go of the old me in order to become the new me. So the new me that I have become is the one that everybody knows of in a way that they're like, oh, Jared is this and that. You don't know how much suffering I went through and I'm still going through. It's the people that you respect the most that have the story that you don't want. You don't want their story, yet they are still so useful and fruitful. See, what I went through allowed me to have a perspective that I didn't even know I would need. So because you've gone through things in life that you have suffered through and you still here, you are overcomer, fam. We overcome together. But listen, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. You can only suffer for so long until you finally decide, listen, this is not going to change anytime soon. What can I do? We going to make do or we going to mildew? And I decided to make do. I decided to see things differently. Because the first question was, what do you have to gain if you lose? Well, one thing I gained was a perspective that I didn't have at first. And that perspective led me to no longer be the person that can physically go and labor and work at the job I have been working at for 16 years. Now, you go from doing one thing to support your family for 16 years and all of a sudden you can't do this anymore? Oh, my goodness. What are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to, what's going on? What am I supposed to do? Well, because I couldn't use my physical body the way that I wanted to, now it is time for me to use my mind and my words to make my money. See, now that I'm making my money with my mind and my mouth, this is evidence that this was something that I was supposed to be doing a long time ago, but I was muted. Yep, I was muted. So how many of us are always going through things that we don't know why we're going through just to find out later on, like, oh, that was actually useful? Oh, wow. Yeah. The things that we have experienced that we didn't want to go through are quite most of the time the most useful things that have happened in our lives. Sometimes that's where we get our most excitement. And it's sad, but it's true. So when we look at the fact that, oh my goodness, I am I'm somebody who is struggling and suffering and going through what I'm going through, but there's somebody who needs to know about it. Ooh. For those of you who I just want to remain private and all of that stuff, I'm gonna tell you right now, your privacy is limited because the day you check out of here, look at Chadwick Boseman, one amazing actor, played the Black Panther and all of these other movies, but that man passed away. And when he passed away, that's where everything was revealed. All of what he was going through. He didn't want anybody to know until after he was gone. And no disrespect to him. That's his response. That's his right. Okay, got it. But if I would have remained quiet, because I didn't want to tell anybody at first. I didn't want anybody to know I got diagnosed with MS. I didn't want anybody to know they told me I had this other stuff. I didn't want anybody to know I couldn't work and labor and do the things I used to do. I didn't want anybody to know any of that. And then when I finally started talking, when I finally unmuted myself, and I finally started speaking about it, I started finding myself actually healing people. I said, well, at least somebody getting healed around here. When I started speaking the truth of what was going on with me, I was able to give the fruit of what it was producing. What am I saying? I am saying that the value of what you are experiencing right now is far greater than you can even comprehend. I've seen a lot happen in a short amount of time. It is 2025. All of this stuff started for me in 2023. Yeah, I'm still here, and so are you. We still going through the things we going through, but we get to go through them. I have a wife. I have 3 children. They're all under the 4, 6, and 8. And I am wrestling with the things that I wrestle with, but guess what? Daddy still get to show up. I remember not being able to pick them up and play with them because I couldn't physically do it. I remember not being able to go and do little pillow fights with them because daddy's head was hurting so badly. I remember having to always have it dark in the house because the migraines and the extreme pain and all of that stuff of the light sensitivity. I remember all of this stuff, but because I remember it, I can refer back to it because that's not my current reality. I still struggle. I still wrestle. I still am pushed to my limits on a day-to-day, but I don't let it stop me and cause me to believe that I'm less than capable of doing what it is that God has called me to do. Because if we have anything, we have evidence and proof that there are things that we have overcome that we did not think we would ever get through. We didn't even know it was coming. So the things that we never saw coming are the same things that we outlasted, overcame, outlived. We still here. And you don't want to tell nobody about it, fam? You got to unmute yourself. Because them things right there, what if your past was the medicine for somebody else's present? What if the very things that you went through were the actual God-given, divine ordained medications in the form of speech and words that somebody else would need to hear later? And that's why you acquired it. That's why you went through it. What if you walking around here as a whole healer and you didn't even know it? It's a proverb. It says, anxiety in a man's heart weighs it down, but a good word makes it glad. What if you actually telling somebody what you have gone through, not what you're going through, what you have gone through, the thing you didn't want to talk about when you were going through it? What if that right there was the relief that somebody else needed to hear because you showed them your scars? Because if I show you my scars, that's evidence and proof. Yes, I suffered. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was difficult. Yes, all of that. But guess what? I'm still here. So though I suffered, I show you my scars as proof that your wounds can be healed. If I show you my scars, that's evidence and proof that your wounds can be healed. Well, what about yours, fam? What if your scars are the actual medicine that somebody needs to visually see and hear about to understand that there's hope, to understand that there's light on the other side of this situation? There's giving gifts out of this. There are gifts coming out of this. It just takes time. What if your gifts are the very things that you want to reject and you don't want to talk about? Y'all better stop downplaying your gifts. Stop belittling your gifts. Oh, I don't like this about myself. I hate this happening, all of that stuff. What if the very thing that you actually see in the way that you see it is the reason why you are stuck where you're at? What if shifting your perspective would allow you to be free? Because you already got access to it. You just might not be embracing it. I remember watching a movie. It was a Pilgrim's Progress. It was a scene in there where the actual pilgrim, Christian pilgrim, he was being shown his future and he didn't even know it. But what he was seeing was him in a cage. He didn't know it. The man was screaming and hollering, "No hope, no hope." But see, what Christian saw was there was an actual key in the actual cage. And he asked, why doesn't he just leave? And he was told, why don't you ask him? So he goes and asks him, why don't you just leave? And his response was, no hope, no hope. It's like, man, many people don't realize that the actual key to get out of the situation has already been given to them. However, they refuse to accept it, acknowledge it, and focus on the right thing. That's why they're encaged. That's why they're enslaved, and they're doing it to themselves. You don't have to remain encaged and enslaved in the past that does not serve you. You can remain free because of the past that has freed you. If you did not have the perspectives that you have right now, you wouldn't be as useful as you are today. If you did not go through what you went through, you would not be able to show up the way that you get to today. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand the people that are going to come into your life because you hadn't gone through what you went through. You wouldn't understand the use that you have of your story. You wouldn't get it. It wouldn't make sense. The connections wouldn't be there. So what do you have to gain if you lose is always a question. Because there's a lot of things you gain from losing. But then what do you have to lose if you win? That's the other question. What do you have to lose if you win? Because if you have nothing to lose if you win, and I told you already that the definition of the word win, the etymology of the word win, W-I-N, means to struggle for, to toil, to suffer, to strive. If you are still standing and you are pushing forward, even if you have not succeeded yet, you are still winning by definition. And if you're winning by definition, that means your growth is the byproduct of repetition. And everything that you are overcoming and outlasting on a day-to-day basis, week to week, month to month, year to year, and everything you still get to persevere through, you still here after all of it. Not only are you a winner, but you a champion, my friend. And you get to go. You get to go forward, and forward, and forward, and eventually you get to connect with people. And those people help you to move forward, and you help them to move forward. And you find out, man, all I got to do is tell my story. It says, from the fruit of a man's mouth, he enjoys good. Do you realize that the fruitfulness of your actual conversation is the byproduct of every story that you get to tell? You would be boring if you had not gone through anything. You would be a boring person. Another one tells us that literally, when you're dealing with words, when you're dealing with your speech, when you're dealing with what can come out of your mouth to heal, help, and satisfy somebody else, it says a man will be satisfied with good by the fruit of his words, and the deeds of a man's hands will return to him. What you have worked, your hands, you have done the work. You have put in the time. You have exerted the effort, and the actual fruit of your lips is not only going to produce, but the fruit of your work in your hands based off of who you have become. It's be, do, have, give, receive. You got to be the person that does the thing, but first you got to believe. If you don't believe that you are someone that is valuable, you are someone that is capable of accomplishing great things, then you got to change your perspective, because you're looking at you from a limited perspective. Probably a lie that somebody else told you, or you were forced to believe and persuaded to believe. Well, I got news for you, my friend. You're so useful that people want to use you. Ooh, did I say that? You're so useful that people want to use you. If you're so useful that people want to use you, then that means you're quite valuable, because the word value means, or valuable means, it's useful. Not only are you valuable, not only are you somebody who is an endurer, you endure, you're a perseverer, you're an overcomer, you're a champion, you still winning, you still got this, you still here, in spite of everything that everybody else may have had to say or believes. What you believe about yourself needs to be the truth, because the truth shall set you free, but a lie will set you up. And if you keep setting yourself up with these lies, fam, you got to release yourself and free yourself. If you still here, you still winning, okay, cool. That means the value that is in you is constantly being seen by people outside of you. So if you don't see your worth and you don't see your value, then you probably hiding. Ugh. And if you're hiding, you got to stop hiding, fam. Stop hiding. What are you hiding for? Why are you hiding? Who are you hiding from? You? If you are hiding from anybody, it's more than likely going to be you. Because if you can hide, then you can think, you thinking nobody's going to see you. Well, I got news for you. Everybody sees you that's looking for you. And those who are looking for you need you. They need you. You are needed. You are wanted. You are desired. Do you realize that? Do you realize there are people who are scavenging the earth, searching for you? But why? Because you have the truth. You have the story that they need to hear in order to continue forward and persevere. They need the fruit of your lips. Those are your words, by the way. They need what comes from your tree of life. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. So whenever we're hoping for something and anticipating and looking forward to something, and it takes time and it doesn't get here in the time we thought, that makes the heart sick. That's anxiety. That's frustration. That's misery. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled or a dream come true is a tree of life. Oh my goodness. Don't you realize that the moment you show up in somebody else's life as evidence that they can get through what you've gotten through, because you showed them your scars that was proof that their wounds could be healed? Don't you realize that you showing up is the hope and the desire fulfilled? They just needed to see that somebody could do it. And you did it. You did it. They're not blind. They're not crazy. They see it. Some of us want to hide the scar that's so plain to see. Like, I got a scar. Where is it at? I got a scar on my forehead, right? When I was a child, I wasn't paying attention to instructions. Whoop, that's what kids do. Kids don't listen. But I ran into a wall and I was bleeding all over the place. I actually passed out. It was crazy. I was like single digits. I might have been like 6 years old. But this same scar was leveraged in a conversation with my kids about a month ago, because they were running through the house doing what kids do. However, I had to make them aware of the potential consequences that could happen when you're not paying attention and being careful. Why am I telling you this story? Because you have scars on you that people can see clearly. They just need to know the story behind it. And I'm not physically talking about every scar you're talking. I'm talking about you have emotional scars that people can see. It's written all over your face. It's in the way that you move. It's in the way that you speak. They hear it, and they're able to identify. Like, you know what? They feel like they understand you. Y'all connect. Well, them same scars that they can see, if you don't talk about them, they won't know, because you hiding. Stop trying to hide things that don't need to be hidden. Sometimes the very things that you are hiding are the very things that somebody else is looking for. You have the treasure. Why are you hiding it? You're not a pirate. Stop hiding your treasures. We need to transform our traumas into transcribed treasures that can be rewritten for somebody else's perspective. You need to provide those who are looking for you with exactly what it is that they need so that you can get paid for your pain. It's time to cash in on that, because the things that you have gone through were useful then and they're useful now. And I'm not talking about, get money. No. I'm talking about the purpose of your pain was to present perspectives to somebody that would need it in the future. And right now is the present, but it's still the future in context of what you've gone through and been through. Am I making sense? Somebody let me know. Like, drop a like on this joint. Put a comment in here. Let me know if I'm making sense to you. Because if you are understanding what I'm saying, at core, I am telling you that you got this, fam. That's what I'm telling you. You got this. And you've been doing it. You've been doing it. You've been pushing forward. You've been overcoming. You've been outlasting your pains. You've been doing it, but it's time to unmute yourself. You got to speak up. Stop hiding the truth. The truth of everything that you have gone through is still present within the fruit that you have to give. And if you are fruitful, then you got to give exactly what it is you were meant to, because if you hold it back, you're withholding. I remember when I used to not want to talk. Yeah, Jared. I thought I was saying too much. Thought I was talking too much. But then when I got quiet, I would get looked at by people who were in higher positions at my old job as me. And I'm like, what's they looking at me like, what are you doing? I said, oh, nah, I just figured I'd stop. They said, no, you don't have to stop talking, man. You're good. I said, oh, man, I just felt like, no. They said, you're one of those people, man. I want to hear more. I was like, oh, snap. Well, there are people who need to hear more of you and what you have to say. But you trying to play humble, and I don't want to say too much. I don't want to make the conversation about me. Sometimes people need to hear about you because they tired of talking to themselves all day. They legitimately are thinking in their head about things all day that are not serving them. If anything, they're enslaving them, and they need to be freed. So when you come and you tell them what you have to tell them, you literally save them from them. Are you willing to do that though? Are you willing to be the person that is freeing people by speaking life to them? If death and life are in the power of the tongue, and he who loves it eats of its fruit, then you can be fruitful and useful by speaking life and changing people's perspectives by simply telling your story. It's yours. You own it. It's your narrative. Did you know that? Did you know that your God-given story is your responsibility and authority? So if we've allowed someone to hijack us or mute us, keep us silent on the things that we have been given permission and been commissioned to speak on, it's like, man, well, if I don't say anything, I'm actually doing like something wrong. Yeah, you daggone Skippy. And you are hurting people by not speaking. You're hurting people by not saying what needs to be said. You're hurting people by hiding. Stop hiding. No more hiding, fam. Stop hiding. No more hiding. Come out of hiding. Because what you are hiding is actually you running. Stop running. Stop running. I had to stop running. And when I stopped running, I found that there were people that were looking for me. I said, oh my goodness. And it can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. It can be a lot, but it can be so fulfilling because now you can see the purpose of it all. It's like, oh man, this makes sense. Okay, so I had to get diagnosed with this right here so that I could be at this hospital and be introduced to these other people right here so that I could be introduced to these people over here. Now it's the 7 degrees of separation and all 6 degrees of separation, all of these different things happening. And I end up in rooms that I never thought that I would ever be in. Speaking, helping people to see things from a perspective that they deserve to see them from. But nobody's going to listen to the person who can't make them feel anything. I promise you that. They're not trying to hear you if they don't feel you. That's like, man, nobody's. My goodness, y'all. You are qualified to speak on what you can speak about because you've been through it. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need anybody's approval to tell the truth. If you in America, this is a country where we have freedom of speech. So you can speak and say what you choose to say as long as you are speaking life. You have my approval. If you need permission, there you go. You have it. Go speak life. Go tell the truth. Stop hiding. Stop running. Stop holding back. What are you hiding for? Who are you running from? You're running from you, and that's who you're really hiding from. Because I promise you, you ain't getting away from God. Adam and Eve tried that. God came out and said, where are you? Why are you hiding? They've been trying to hide since the beginning. You ain't going to get away with that one. Stop hiding. It's time. It's time, fam. Stop running. Stop hiding. Show up. Show out. Be who it is in your authority. Tell your story and operate in your God-given narrative because can't nobody take your story from you. But just know this, if you don't speak up, if your story is really powerful, which I believe it is, somebody else is going to hijack it. Oh, you don't believe me? Diary of Anne Frank. She wrote that. Diary of Anne Frank was not released by Anne Frank. This woman has changed the world, helped so many people, but she did not publish her book. Her father did. So this story that has changed the world, that's helped so many people going through all of these different scenarios in life, that same woman did not unmute herself. Her father did. Granted, she was alive when it happened and the actual benefits of it she got to witness and see. However, if she had not been unmuted by her father, she would have literally went to the grave with something that somebody else needed to hear and read. What about you? Oh, you want another one? Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe is an... If you've never heard of him, then you must not know much about literature. But this individual right here did not unmute himself. Yet, someone else got a hold of his writings and they published them after he was dead. And this individual actually is known for a specific genre in literature and shaped and changed the world. But he didn't unmute himself. He went to the grave, miserable, struggling, suffering, in silence at that. What about you? Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, one of the fathers of Stoicism. The same individual wrote in his private personal journal, daily, clearly, and when we got a hold of it, they named it Meditations, but that was for him, nobody else. And guess what? He didn't unmute himself, and he didn't put that out for anybody. Years later, others get a hold of it, it gets published, and now it's changing people's lives when they read it and see it. It's like, do you need any more examples? Like, I could go on and on and on as far as the people who did not unmute themselves. Oh, you want another one? Okay. Well, let's look at, you know what? I tell you what, I'll be doing an actual masterclass. How about that? I'll be hosting a masterclass. And if you are interested and want to know about how you can unmute yourself, if you want to know how you can go about literally unmuting yourself, owning your voice, and then monetizing, turning your voice into a monetized asset, that's a legacy building asset, by the way, comment me or DM me. That way I can make sure that I say what needs to be said because I don't have time. I've been on here about half an hour. But I do know this. If you unmute yourself, you are freeing somebody else. There's this wisdom, this book of Proverbs, and there's this mother who has a son. The son is a king. His name is Lemuel. King Lemuel is instructed by his mother, literally, to unmute himself. She tells him, I'm going to read it to you real quick. She says, open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all the unfortunate. What about you? Are you a king? You a queen? Do you think you have something to say that could actually be helpful to somebody that needs to be heard and needs to be said? I mean, like, she didn't stop right there. She said, open your mouth, judge righteously, and defend the rights of the afflicted and the needy. There are people who are going through what they're going through right now, and they need you to unmute them. And maybe I'm that person for you. Maybe I'm the one who is unmuting you. Maybe I'm the one that's helping you to understand that you can unmute. But at the end of the day, if you don't unmute yourself, there are people you are leaving on mute. And if you stay on mute, then things don't happen. While things that you don't want to happen continue to happen. Unmute yourself, fam. Get focused. Stay focused. Know that you got this and understand that whether you woke up on purpose or not, you still woke up with purpose attached to your life. And the value of your voice is so valuable that people want to hear it. So if you got something to say, DM me. That way we can talk about how it is you can go about being intentional about your voice, about your words, about your life, about your message, and about your literally your God-given narrative. And if you still here, remember, you still winning, fam. Y'all stay focused. Much love. Let me get up off of here. I appreciate y'all showing up. Catch y'all later.